Fat Dag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, Fat Dag.
I am your host, Fat Dag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello. Welcome to episode 221 of Wise Advice. And if you're just joining us for the very first time, I want to give you a quick little update and catch up as to what is going on here. We're a community of amazing people who are absolutely, completely changing our lives because we realized that at some point we finally said we have to change our lives, get healthy, get in shape, lose some weight, and just really be the best version of us. So that's what this show is all about. You can find it on fatdag.com for sure. You can get it in your app store if you're not already listening from the app. Search for Wise Advice with Fat Dag. It's in iHeartRadio, it's in Stitcher Radio, it's in Spotify. Wherever you can find a podcast, the podcast certainly is there. So thank you for joining us. We have an amazing community. Just about every single episode, the show is 100% user content driven. What that means is you send in your emails, I read them, I kind of summarize them in my words and give you a little bit of perspective back. And that's how this goes. So it really is dependent upon you shooting in your email. And it's funny, I look at my inbox and so many folks write in and say, I've written this email 10 times and have yet to send it. So, it's time to send it in. And it's fun when we get a live audience. So we're live on Facebook, live on Instagram, and of course, live on YouTube. Instagram chimes in, so this is my first time watching live. I thought this was pre-recorded, the opening of the show. No, every single show we record, I record it all the way from the very beginning, just for you to keep it real and keep it going. So the very first email for this show comes in from Dan out of Winnipeg. Dan says internationally, "Hey Mike, I'm writing to you to say, I finally seem to have a focus I've been searching for a long time. In September 2009, I joined Weight Watchers, and by June 2010, I'd gone from 260 pounds to 187. I was a model Weight Watcher member. I weighed and measured almost everything. I seldom went over my points. I think I did everything right more than 80% of the time. I was 7 pounds away from goal. 7 pounds from standing up in front of that room and getting the tiniest trophy. Yet, to us Weight Watcher members, that key means so much more than just like the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA title, the Stanley Cup, all in one little key. The trophy was just right there in a drawer. It's in the meeting room. All I had to do was get up and go get it. Well, from there, I fell off the wagon. I ballooned up to 290 pounds. I joined once again in 2016. Most weeks, I put some effort in, but not the effort that's required. Finally, after some much-needed soul-searching, I realized I cannot estimate portions. I need the guidelines by Weight Watchers. I spent 4 weeks this summer riding my bike, and I built it up to the point where I can ride 10 kilometers. That inspired me that if I can do that, why can't I train for a 5K run? I've been doing the Couch to 5K app, and I signed up for a 5K run on September 30th. It's a CIBC run for the cure to raise money for breast cancer. As I run, it gets easier and easier. I'm running further and faster every day that I do it. Well, it seems, but now I have something to work for. Saturday night, I was trying to pump myself up. I listened to Triple H's WWE theme music, The Game. And Sunday and Monday, that was my approach to this plan. Everything I ate, I measured, I tracked. I got my first 2 honest A-plus effort days in a very long time. Yes, I've earned many blue dots, but were they as honest as they should have been? Maybe not. The opening lines in his theme music are, "It's time to play the game, time to play the game. It's all about the game and how you play it. All about control and if you can take it." All about control and if you can take it. This program gives you the tools to take control, and as long as I can take that approach day in and day out, I will be your Weight Watcher colleague in no time. Dan from Winnipeg. Dan, thank you for sitting down, getting your focus back, and getting back on track to where you need to be. You start your journey again with an amazing attitude of and an amazing opportunity to understand you. When you first joined, you went from 260 to 187, 7 pounds from goal. What you did there, what you learned during that process is that you learned that you can do this. That is the absolute key. And then sure, you got 7 pounds from the goal and that trophy right in the room. All you had to do is get up and get it. I hear that so many times. I've been close to that myself. I understand it. That key is more valuable than the Super Bowl title, the World Series, the NBA title, the Stanley Cup. It is. And the reason that I think that is more valuable is because it's yours. So when you watch someone in your favorite team and they win the Super Bowl, there's a disconnect still. You can be a fan all you want, but it's not you getting the trophy. It's someone getting the trophy. So it's like sitting in the meeting room and watching other people collect their key. It's awesome to watch. It's amazing to watch, but there's a part of you that says, I want it too. So when you say it's there, it's yours for the taking, it absolutely is yours for the taking. We keep them in the meeting room. So they're very accessible. All you have to do is tell us you want one. You tell us you want one by showing up every week. You tell us you want one by tracking every single week. You tell us you want one by just doing the program, how it benefits you to get success. 7 pounds from goal, and what happened is you got into that complacency stage where you knew that it was happening. You were confident in your abilities, and then life probably comes in, distracts you for a little bit. Needing the guidelines set by Weight Watchers, that accountability is the hardest part. What happens in a lot of times is that we understand it works, and so we keep trying to work it, but we haven't really ingrained the habits that we need long-term for success. That's what Lifetime is there for, and that's why we encourage you to keep going to the meetings, because that level of accountability certainly carries you much more further into your journey than simply hitting goal. Goal is an amazing accomplishment. Lifetime is an amazing accomplishment. But the true accomplishment is maintenance well beyond goal, well beyond lifetime, where you have now living a healthy, happy, balanced life. Congrats on getting out on your bike. That is so awesome. Riding a 10K, and getting that inspiration, saying if I can ride that, I can run. What I take out of your email is you set small goals along the way, and those small goals prove to you that you can do this. I talk about attendance goals all the time. There's no sense getting out and trying to kill yourself in one workout where you can't ever do it again. But instead what you do is you set a small goal and you just do something slowly every single day, and you build up and you build up and you build up, and that teaches the brain that you like feeling successful, that you like checking things off, that you like being accomplished. And the more you start checking things off your list, the more you want to check more off your list. And that is what's happening as you now say, I want to go out and run a 5K. Way to pick a 5K for an amazing cause. Great work there. But you're absolutely right. You now do have something to work for. You have a goal. And it's not just a goal in your weight loss, but you have a goal in your fitness as well. Continue setting goals. Keep the goals front of your mind and go out and absolutely do this. So now that you're refocused in and you have 2 honest A-plus effort days in a very long time, you've earned the blue dots for real this time. Now you know again that you can do this. That's what we're educating ourselves on, is we're just teaching ourselves that we can do it. That's where the power comes through, and that's where the brain finally makes the shift, and you absolutely go out and get it done. So Dan, thank you for your amazing email. Can't wait to hear when you get to goal this time, when you get that gold key. I actually have one sitting right in front of me as well. So for those joining online, I'll show you. It's right here. It's absolutely worth getting. And Dan, you're going to get one, my friend. Keep it up. At Braintree, Massachusetts, Alicia writes in. She says, "Dear Fat Dag, I've started and stopped writing this email too many times to count. But I think it's time for me to share my story. I'm 25 years old. I started Weight Watchers on May 15th, 2017. I've been obese my entire life. Now, every time I start this email, I think of the different ways that I got to where I was when I first started. I would start to talk about watching my mother eat ice cream and frosting for breakfast. Or I would talk about my mother needing lap band surgery because her liver was failing, and how that caused me to go on an emotional eating rampage. The last email before this one talked about my most recent illness, with a degenerative neuromuscular disorder, and how it almost drove me off the rails. Yes, some of my issues stem from my relationship with my mother, but this is my story, not hers. I am here because of my actions and mine alone. As I was growing up, I always had people telling me I needed to lose weight. My doctors, my friends, my family, but I didn't see the need. I didn't want to lose weight because I had people telling me I needed to lose it. I would just ignore them and go on with what I believe now to be a disgusting eating habit. It was just a disgusting habit. I would always plan my junk food, pizza on Wednesdays, McDonald's on Friday, and just random junk in between. It wasn't until I went to college that I realized that I really needed to do something, and even then I didn't really try. Fast forward to May 2017. I'm sitting on my living room couch talking to my mother about a family vacation we'll be taking the next year. At this point, I was sitting at my heaviest, 300 pounds. I wanted to do something to change. I joined Weight Watchers and started doing well immediately. The first month I did online only, and I had lost 18 pounds. After the first month, I decided I needed more accountability, and I decided to join the meeting to give it a try. I loved it. I love my leader. I love the receptionist, and I love the meeting itself. Now it's something I look forward to every Wednesday. I get to go hang out with a great group of people. Well, since joining the meeting in June 2017, I've lost over 75 pounds. I went on my family vacation, gained a little bit, but and I'm working on getting rid of that again. And somewhere along the way, I found the Fat Dag podcast. Listening to them has given me an extra boost to get me through some very difficult times. I always listen to them when I feel an emotional eating rampage coming on, and it stops me from going crazy. In ending my rant, I just wanted to say thank you, Fat Dag. You, your amazing listeners, and this podcast really do help keep me going. I wish you good focus, and I do believe in you. Alicia out of Massachusetts. Alicia, great email. And so let's go all the way back to the beginning. Thank you for writing in. And as you ended your email too, you say the amazing community and the podcast of us sharing is what got you here. And so you now contributing back to that effort with your email is key. So thank you for that. I know it takes many times, and I've seen so many emails come into my inbox where people say, I've started and stopped this email so many times I can't count. And so thank you for developing that courage to say, you know what, this needs to get shared and I need to put it out. So thank you for that. It's interesting how how you opened your email and you say, thinking of the different ways you got to where you were and how you were able, watching your mom eat, ice cream and frosting for breakfast. And I said this on the last couple episodes is our children are watching us. Whether we know it or not, they are watching us, and there are lessons that they are learning from us that we may not be intending to teach. So keep that in the back of your mind as we go through that. But it doesn't truly matter how you got here. It doesn't matter how you ended up to where you're at now. Wherever you are now is the first day of your new life, and you can now push forward and make a completely different change. So as much as all that matters and all that plays into your life story, it doesn't define your future. Your future is defined as what you do from this point forward, the actions you take, and it's that simple to completely change your life. Just do something different tomorrow than you did today. It truly is that simple in a sense, but of course we know life gets in our way and we have to kind of revert back into our habits. So it's very important at that point to develop healthy habits. But I want to kind of clarify one thing. You said, I am here because of my actions and mine alone. And while I agree with that, I don't want you to be so hard on yourself. Your actions are formed based on an education that you received. And so while I agree, your actions are what led you here, but let's understand that the education you received led you to make some choices that now you are starting to learn may not have been the best choices. That's growth. When you understand that now you're in charge and you're capable, you have the ability to make a plan. You said it in your email. You always planned your junk food, pizza on Wednesday, McDonald's on Fridays. That's a plan. It was a plan that wasn't aligned with the goal you currently have today, but the ability to make that plan is what will carry you to goal. Now you just got to substitute in what that plan is going to look like and take a new plan, take a new approach to this. And that's what's going to get you to where you need to be in life. So, as you were growing up, people were always telling you had to lose weight, and your doctors, your family, your friends, everyone. I get that. Every time I heard it, it made me cringe as well because I knew it, to some extent. And not only did I know it, I didn't want to hear it. So we get tired of someone telling us, but at the same point, we already know that. So it does kind of keep us in that path of, okay, I've got to get this done. And you're absolutely did that. Online only for a little while, 18 pounds. That's incredible work doing it online only. I love the fact that you understood that you personally needed a little bit more accountability. Off to the meeting room. You have to fall in love with the process. Whatever process you choose, whether it's online only, whether it's meetings only, whether it's a completely different plan altogether, you have to fall in love with you enough to love every little bit of what you're doing. If you love what you're doing, it makes it so much easier to keep doing it. I say before, don't fight this journey. Don't struggle the journey. Find things that you actually enjoy doing. Find ways to make them happier and healthier and keep doing them. I love that you love your leader, you love the receptionist, you love the meeting itself, and you love hanging out with a group of amazing people. That's why you keep going to the meeting. If you hate it, I say this in my meeting to the new folks. I'm like, hey, if you're sitting here at the end of this 30 minutes, you said, man, I cannot stand that dude. He rambles too much. He talks too much. And that's going to stop you from going to the meeting because you don't want to come see me. Then you need to find a meeting that resonates with you. Alicia, I'm glad to see that you have found the perfect meeting for you that clearly has contributed to your 75-pound weight loss. Pretty freeing. Is it pretty amazing to know that you did that? You turned your complete life around, enjoyed your vacation. Now you're back at it, getting it done. I have no doubt in your ability. I have no doubt that you can accomplish any single goal that you want to accomplish. I do wish you good focus, and I absolutely believe in you. And so thanks for writing in and sharing your story, like I said, with the amazing group that we have here and really helping to inspire others. So thank you so much for doing that. The next email comes in from Pookie. She says, Fat Dag, first, let me say I so appreciate your podcast and the time and dedication you bring to helping us help ourselves. I've been listening for some time now. I hook up to not one, but two of your podcasts on my daily walks. I also credit your motivation for kickstarting my own. I am, however, slightly confused by something I've heard you say repeatedly. It's in response to someone who's made a lifetime, whether currently or sometime in their past. And what I'm sure is meant as a motivational encouragement, you congratulate them for achieving it, and then you'll often tag on something along the lines of, getting to lifetime isn't something many people do. I'm always left scratching my head by this because isn't the point that if you keep your focus and you work the program, staying within your points, etc., that reaching goal and lifetime is within everyone's grasp? It especially seems out of place because your podcast carries such a strong emphasis on getting to that place of knowing you never have to lose weight again. Also, I was listening to episode 82 today where someone had written in and thought that she was at goal and she was concerned because she felt compelled to continue to see losses on the scale. To my ear, it sounded like you were assuring her that now that she had reached her goal, her body would just find its balance and that she wouldn't keep losing. I was a bit surprised because given the right psychological conditions, she could. After all, it's not unheard of that losing weight, even through a healthy program, can end up triggering an eating disorder. Her email and your response resonated with me as a dear friend who was heavy when we were in college, lost weight through Weight Watchers years ago. When she reached goal in lifetime, she is to this day, years later, so compelled by the numbers on the scale that she controls her food intake to the point of obsession. Despite having gotten so terribly thin, like anorexic, she constantly comments on how fat she is, and she shaves points to striving to lose a few more ounces. It's so very sad how it's taking over her life. Well, that's about it. I just wanted to send you a huge compliment and some food for thought. Thanks for hearing me out. Keep up your incredible work. Best, Pookie. Pookie, thank you for the honest feedback. And so let me just, I'll clarify for you, right? I do believe and stand by what I say is that when you push through, when you make it to goal, when you make it to lifetime, you are a part of a very small crowd. Yeah, there are very few people who actually make it to lifetime. And the reason I share that isn't to discourage you, it is to motivate you. And what you need to understand is that you are absolutely right as you summarize. 100% of the people watching, listening, and hearing this right now have that ability to get there. So don't confuse the two. Don't confuse your ability to get there with how many people actually take themselves up on that offer and do it. I want you to take yourself up. I want you to learn every bit about you in this journey so that you can join this group. It's not a closed group. Every single person is welcome. Where the membership will always be open to anybody who wants to join. And so the reason I share it is because I want someone who made it to really understand how much work went into doing that. I want them to be extremely proud of that. I don't want them to give that up ever. I want the rest of you to want to get there as well. I want the rest of you to say, you know what, damn it, I want that too. I want to get there. You can get there, and I want to be the one that reminds you that it's possible. So I get that, depending on how you heard it, I could see where the confusion is, but man, I just know that it truly is possible. That's why I believe in you. That's why I open the show with, I believe in you. Because I do believe you can get there. And I believe every single person can get there. And, and just data-wise, strictly, we'll have to have Lee crunch the numbers, but strictly data-wise, every single day someone hits goal. Every single day someone hits lifetime. So it truly is possible. But every single day someone else, quits going to the meeting. Every single day someone else finally logs out of the app for the very last time and says, I can't do this. And so the numbers don't balance out. More people, give up on themselves in this journey than are able to reward themselves with this such amazing goal that we have set forward. Now, when it comes to, hitting goal and hitting lifetime, I recognized exactly what you said. And so, as I was losing weight, I got to the point where I started noticing in my own journey that a slight food eating disorder addiction was creeping its way in. I was able to maintain my weight. I'm very happy with where I'm at. Everything is good. But I was noticing myself still having some bad habits that I didn't necessarily appreciate that were keeping me at goal. And so what I've had to do is, I just recently gave up caffeine as part of that because I was addicted to the caffeine. I want to see if I could mentally beat that barrier. Going on a month now, no caffeine, and it's actually no effect. there are certain protein bars, the Quest protein bar, for example, I would have, them as 2 or 3 meals a day, and that would be my only meal for the day on some days. And I realized that was obviously unhealthy. So I was developing a disorder trying to satisfy the scale number more than the healthy version of myself. So as I made the readjustments, sure, it had an impact to my scale number, but what I understand now is there is more to this journey than the complete single digit on the scale. I bring in balance into this program, and I say, I like to balance my life. I like to be happy. I get up this morning. I ran 2 miles again. I ran 2 miles yesterday. So back to back 2 mile runs at a decent pace. And I finally said, I'm happy. I'm fit. I'm healthy. And I'm now relearning how to eat some things that may have triggered an eating disorder in my journey alone. That is the piece that the responsibility gets shifted back to you. The responsibility to take care of yourself is 100% yours. The tools are there to use as a guideline. You will know when you reach goal. If you're continuing to satisfy a program, and you're continuing to use one data point and one data point alone as your measure of success, and that data point that you choose is the scale, you will develop some sort of issue trying to use that. It's why we ask you to write down these non-scale victories, and I want you to celebrate the things that are going on in your life that are amazing. And when I can proudly say that, 2 days in a row, I'm able to, crush a nice 2 mile run and not even soar a little bit from it. I could probably go do it again right now if I really wanted to. And so that is a different, another number that I'm adding to the journey as I balance everything else out. So, my heart breaks for your friend. Hopefully, it's not a complete medical diagnosis, but, she obviously could, go see a doctor and get that completely diagnosed. But it's an interesting journey, to say the least. And so I firmly believe you will know when you get to goal. You'll step on the scale and you say, hey, I don't know what the number is, but whatever it is, I feel great. I feel awesome. And I want to keep that going. And so the difference between, for many of us, the difference between, goal and 1 or 2 pounds or even 7 pounds above goal isn't a new pant size. For many cases, we don't walk into a restaurant at goal, have dinner, and have to go change before we leave because our clothes don't fit. So we have to kind of keep an eye on the big picture, and that big picture is what I'm striving to get all of us to recognize and see, is that there's so much more to this journey than that complete scale number. Now, certainly, I weigh myself every single day. It goes to Twitter. It goes to Facebook. You know that. You see that data. But that is one data point in my journey. That's all it is. And so yeah, and I'm not working to satisfy the scale. I'm working to satisfy a healthy eating pattern. And I'm very proud of the way I ate today. I'm very proud of the way I ate yesterday. And I'm really I'm just enjoying it. I'm not struggling with it. I'm not fighting it. I'm just enjoying this brand new life, and I'm able to enjoy it because I've developed healthy habits along the way, and those healthy habits truly came from me putting in the time, putting in the effort to get the education to understand my body and its relationship to food. That's what the program taught me, and so I'm now taking it to the next level, and I'm using that education to build and make the best version of me, and I want you to do the same. You absolutely can do this, and like I said, as when you get there, you'll get to goal in a lifetime, and it's such an amazing accomplishment. It is unlike any other feeling I've ever had. I tell you, stepping on that scale for the very last time in a weight loss mode, not wanting to see it go down, is different. It absolutely is different. So thank you for your candid feedback. I truly appreciate it. Hopefully that answers the question. If not, shoot an email back in. I'll be glad to talk with you more about it for sure. Mary Lee says, hi, Fat Dag. Hey, I really appreciate your podcast, your passion, and your leadership. In 2014, I started my own business, and my biggest struggle with my weight also began. While I'd rarely loved my body and I'd been at a weight where I felt totally comfortable, I was generally within 5 to 10 pounds of my ideal weight prior to March of 2014. Well, you see, I grew up with a thin, beautiful mom that said almost daily, oh, if I could just lose these last 5 to 10 pounds. I adopted this habit and mindset and also found myself always thinking I would be happy with my body if I could just lose the last 10 pounds. Luckily, my business has been successful, but an unexpected side effect turned out to be weight gain. I gained about 20 pounds in the first 3 months of my business venture, and my weight slowly crept up from there. I eventually gained 35 pounds, but I had lots of excuses. I was too busy to take care of myself. My husband was doing more of the grocery shopping and cooking, and so healthy foods weren't as readily available. My hormones were out of whack. It was all stress, weight, etc. I really believed that I couldn't be successful and take care of myself. Weight Watchers and your podcast showed me that I was wrong. I began following the program May of 2018. I lost 18 pounds in 7 weeks while traveling across South America with my family and eating out 2 meals each day. I saw that my excuses had just been that. Excuses. I could be healthy and successful. My hormones, my age, stress, they weren't making me fat. My food choices were. I've lost 27 pounds since May, and I feel really great. But I also feel myself getting complacent. I still have 15 pounds to lose, and I'd love to feel completely confident in myself and my body. I've never experienced that before. I'm writing to you to let you know that your podcast has been a game changer for me. I'm in this for life, but I look forward to hitting my ideal weight. I'm looking forward to showing kids, my family, and most importantly, myself, that I can be successful, healthy, and confident. I'm on my way. Thank you for being such a great inspiration. Gratefully, Marilee. Marilee, thank you for this amazing event. 27 pounds. Congratulations on that. That is all you getting it done. Very proud of you. Very proud of you. I opened the show earlier with an email talking about, our kids are watching, right? And everything we do, our children, sometimes we teach them lessons we did not intend to teach. And in this case, your beautiful, healthy, thin mom said daily, if she could just lose the 5 or 10 pounds, that translated back into your journey where you had to, when you saw your mom looking beautiful, you saw your mom looking thin, and then so you understood from what her journey was is that she had to lose 10 pounds for herself to feel healthy, happy, and beautiful. And you've turned that and you've resonated that inside of you. And I want you to drop that. I want you to just ditch that mantra altogether. That's her life and that's separate than yours. And I want you to now understand that your life is completely different. You have the ability to do amazing things. You don't start a business without a plan. You don't certainly run a business without a plan. You don't run a business without focus, dedication, hard work, discipline. It takes a lot of effort to run a business. That same level of effort can also be used to maintain a healthy lifestyle. The good news is they can be done in conjunction. Once you finally understood that your excuses were just that, excuses, I think as we get through, an amazing time in our life and we get through some hard times in our life, we do fall back into old habits. And so as the mind, starts building this new body, when it comes to stress and it comes to, long days and running out of time, you will fall back on what you know to be convenient. And what I want to have happen for you is I want that convenience to be the healthy alternative. And that's when the real true success comes in. When all of a sudden, you're craving an apple at 10 o'clock at night because that just tastes good and that's all you have in the house. I joked about this in my meeting the other night is that, it's very hard to munch on Oreos at 10 p.m. if you don't have them in the house. And if you don't buy them, they're very difficult to get at midnight when you wake up and you're craving something. So what I want you to do is I want you to start looking at ways that you're already done because clearly you're having the success, but I want you to build healthy habits into your entire life so that your default mode, your fallback plan, the things that you do automatically on autopilot align with your goal. Not just your work goal, but your healthy living lifestyle goal. And when you get to that point, that's when you know you're on your way. And that point, the last 10 or 15 pounds or whatever you think you need to get to wherever you think goal is, it's going to happen automatically. That's what's going to happen. And so whether it's 5 pounds, whether it's 10 pounds, whether it's 15 pounds, what I want you to focus on is eating healthy, eating properly, and taking care of you and let your body take care of the weight. That's how it works. And when you get there, you're clearly on your way. I'm glad to have you right in. But Corinne just says on Facebook, you got to control your environment. And I'll summarize that as well, because that's entirely it. And so, the places you put yourself in, the situations you put yourself in, make it easier or more difficult for you to stay on your goal. So it's in the grocery store, it's significantly easier to resist the temptation than it is when they're actually physically home and you paid for them. If you want them, you know the deal, right? If you want them, love them, track them, move on. But if you know you have a hard time with them, then make it a treat the once in a while that you want it, versus having it as a staple. I mean, there were things on our grocery list that we bought every single week, things that I never ever have anymore just because I don't want them. But they were a staple in this house. They were always in the cupboard. And so when it became time to munch on something, I always had an option of something unhealthy. Almost never did we have any apples or bananas in the house. Almost never did we have any fruit. Now it's just the opposite. So it's just an interesting way to just really, like I said, as Corinne said, control your environment. And as your environment now changes, you adapt to that environment. And that adaptation is what's going to carry you to goal, to lifetime, and keep you there for a very, very, very long time. When you get there, by all means, you come to the show and you celebrate. Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the Wise Advice Podcast link, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. You can email into at onair@fatdag.com. The app actually has a way in the app, the Wise Advice app, you can send an email directly from the app. So you can do that as you're listening to an episode if you want. But I really want you to email in your celebrations. I want you to email in your struggles. I want you to email in your challenges. I want you to be proud of what you're doing. I want you to walk through this journey with everybody else who's also walking this journey. I want this community to truly understand every single aspect of this journey. And that can only happen when you take the time to send in your struggle, your email, your challenge, your celebration. That what makes us all happy to get this done. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the Wise Advice Podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit fatdag.com, click on Become a Patron today.